Since the beginning of time, there have been billions of people who have come and gone, some of whom have altered the course of history with their innovations and ideas in the fields of politics, economics, and religion. And today's world is grateful to them. So today, friends, we will talk about some of the most capable and amazing people who have made this world what it is today through their inventions, discoveries, or ideas. Besides this, we will provide some fascinating details about each of these individuals that you may not be familiar with. Guys, we are all aware of their identities and backgrounds. What were their some notable accomplishments?
Charles Darwin. Dear friends, individuals who have significantly impacted this planet. One of them is Charles Darwin, a geologist and biologist who was born in Britain in the 19th century and is famous across the world for his modern theory of evolution. According to the theory of evolution, all species, including humans, are distinct from one another because variation and adaptation have played a significant role in evolution. Similar to how all humans are descended from Adam, who according to him is our closest cousin. All living things are related and once shared an ancestor millions of years ago.
Made from chimpanzees and roughly 70 million years ago, our predecessors shared the same characteristics. He supported this theory with data in his book On the Origin of Species, published in 1859, and it became widely accepted in both scientific and religious circles. He held back for about 20 years due to the anticipated responses, but after his hypothesis was published, it got significant criticism that is still being spoken today. As he had anticipated, the theory has since become quite controversial in religious circles. Due to his background-breaking theories and thoughts, Darwin is regarded as one of the greatest scientists and most intellectual individual of his time. In addition, Darwin engaged in some fascinating activities outside of his scientific discoveries. He also made a list of the advantages and disadvantages of marriage. Despite all the disadvantages, he was still married and had 10 children.
Isaac Newton. Dear friends, now bring up Isaac Newton was a scientist and mathematician who was born in Britain in the 17th century. The presentation of natural laws, mathematical foundations and equations is one of his most well-known accomplishments. With relation to Newton's work on calculus, he is also referred to as the founder of calculus, a foundational concept in contemporary engineering including his 3 laws of motion and the universal law of gravity. German scientists of the present day claimed that Newton stole his work is factually incorrect because some of his research notes were copied by his friends and family and either burned or hidden after his death. These notes were later found and published in 1960. The estimated number of words on Newton's written notes at the time of his death was about 10 million words.
At the age of 26, Newton was appointed a professor at Cambridge University, but neither he nor his students were interested in learning from him. Newton was a scientist, professor, and a member of British Parliament for a year. However, he only talked once throughout that time, and that was to a staff member. As a result, his classroom was usually empty.
Galileo Galilei, who was born in Italy in the 16th century, is acknowledged with founding modern science and astronomy. Galileo spent the most of his life working on a modern telescope, but his work on astronomy had a significant influence in the scientific revolution of his day. He improved the design of an earlier telescope, spent trying to use sails to create a fortune, but he was never successful. He was imprisoned for openly endorsing Copernicus' 1543 Sun at the center of the universe astronomy concept. He used to freely promote these ideas, but the church at the time did not agree that the center of the universe and all other planets circle around it. Consequently, he was imprisoned and spent his final years there.
3 fingers, a backbone, and a tooth were removed from his body 100 years after his death, when his remains were moved to a different burial site. One of the 3 fingers that were removed was from Italy, and it is still there. His other 2 fingers and teeth were kept by a fan. His backbone is still at the university in Italy, where he once taught. In 1992, the Vatican Church issued an official apology for claiming that Galileo was mistaken in criticizing the spread of the Earth's rotation around the Sun, and placing the blame for the discovery that the Sun is stationary and that the Earth revolved around it after 3,500 years, and putting him in jail.
Albert Einstein. Even if you haven't read Theory of Relativity, you must be familiar with Einstein's name. Friends, Einstein was undoubtedly one of the smartest people who have ever lived, and he proposed his hypothesis. It may surprise you to learn that some people viewed Einstein as having intellectual flaws due of his differing opinions. Being an ardent supporter of Israel's founding, he entirely abandoned his German citizenship in 1932 owing to the political climate. He was even given the presidency by Israel's prime minister, which he declined.
Einstein is thought to have had the brain of a typical human, despite the fact that his theory of relativity is his most well-known contribution. He received the Nobel Prize for his research on the photoelectric effect. His mental capacity was 3 times greater than the average. But let us also tell you that his brain was stolen barely 8 hours after he passed away, exposing the location of the secret to his remarkable brilliance. He used to say that if he hadn't been a scientist, he may have become a musician. Research has shown that he had an extra section at the back of his brain, more cells, and less weight.
That's it for today. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Please comment down below.
That's it for today.
Bye
Bye for
for
now.
now.